I am so excited to be launching our new Bloom speaker series with Jennifer Johannesen. I met Jennifer when her son Owen was about 5, and she wrote a beautiful piece for us about how Owen had mastered the art of living in the moment, which I think is a fitting message given the topic tonight, which is success and how that relates to children's rehab.
I actually got the physical book in my hand and I read it from start to finish. I saw things in it that I had not experienced before in our story, and it was so interesting to me to see how certain pieces of our narrative started to surface in a way that I didn't see when we were living the story. I didn't see after he died. I didn't even see when I was writing the story. So the things that I've started to talk about now moving forward are things that were not even really in my mind when I wrote the book. Looking back through all my experiences through healthcare and through looking for advice, there were very little stories to connect with. You know, mostly it was statistics and information and stuff you could Google online, and sometimes there would be these very inspirational stories. You know, we'd see these videos, and I remember this pivotal moment several years ago when I saw this video on YouTube, and it was, you've probably all seen it, it's the Marathon Dad. Do you guys know the Marathon Dad? His son has significant disabilities, and the two of them have done these, I think they're actually triathlons maybe together, and the dad carries the son with him and pulls him in the boat and cycles him around, and you know, it's an amazing story and sort of overwhelming to experience. But when, you know, a friend sends you the video and says, oh hey, have you seen this? I found that actually kind of depressing, and I would watch these videos and find them the opposite of inspiring. So preparing this story and offering it out for me was an exercise in perhaps balance and offering an alternate voice into this world of statistics and just data that we all have to wade through. And on the other side, these sort of preposterously, you know, so-called inspirational stories that very few people can relate to. And I think we all know that the reality of the lives of parents with children with disabilities is, you know, there are very few of these miracle moments in a lifetime, if at all. It's mostly a pretty steady trajectory of a lot of hard work, and those sorts of stories don't get told very much. I had been thinking about writing a book while Owen was alive and had all these ideas of guidebooks and maybe I'd have some advice, and I'd figured out some things in the system that I could possibly share with people. And the more I started to write those ideas, the less authentic it felt, the more it felt like I was possibly avoiding some of my own self-discovery in this idea that I was trying to constantly think of ways to give advice. And so when Owen passed away, it just made a lot of sense that really it's just the story that people might connect with, and that's really all I have. In preparing tonight and thinking about tonight, I put myself back to when Owen was very little and remembering when he was, you know, 1, 2, 3 years old. And if somebody had asked me then, what is your definition of success? I for sure would have had an answer. And my answer would have been, success looks like Owen's going to walk, and Owen's going to talk, and Owen is going to make choices. If you had said to me then, you know, Owen is going to become a 12-year-old boy and not do any of those things, I would have I don't know what I would have done. I would have, I think the depression would have set in pretty quickly. I just could not conceive of this idea that there was not going to be any progress. We had this very rigid definition of success where I knew exactly what was supposed to happen in order for me to feel like we had done a good job together. And then you fast forward 12 years, and looking, for me now, looking back towards the end of his life, the last 2 or 3 years of his life, I feel like success isn't even on the table. He had a fantastic life, he had a wonderful life, and I wouldn't change a thing. So what that's made me realize is that, especially in hindsight, and especially as we grew together, that success itself, you know, as soon as I uncoupled it from achievement, and as soon as I uncoupled it from the actual outcomes, it's when I started to feel freer. I started to see him differently. I started to have a completely different perspective on life. It made me wonder, and continues to make me wonder, about how the parent brings perspective to the child, how the clinician brings perspective to the family, how the institution, you know, comes down and influences the whole thing, when really the child is probably fine. Your own experience of your child can improve and can blossom and grow in a way that is maybe not attached to them achieving anything.